Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's both unnerving and incredibly intriguing. UFO incursions at nuclear weapon sites.
Yeah, you know those moments where lights in the sky seem to coincide with missile systems mysteriously going offline?
Exactly. And to guide us through these chilling events, we've got firsthand accounts from former Air Force personnel who were right there during the Cold War.
It really is captivating. It's not just a few scattered incidents.
Right.
We're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
UFO activity clustering around nuclear facilities going all the way back to the beginning of the atomic age.
And it's not just grainy photos or shaky eyewitness accounts.
No.
We're talking declassified government documents, hard radar data, and multiple credible witnesses.
All weaving together a pretty compelling story.
That's what makes it so fascinating. We've got declassified CIA files that reveal how seriously the government was taking UFOs even back in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
Plus years of research from experts like Robert Hastings, who's meticulously documented these incidents.
And we're going to sift through all of it.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a wild ride.
It really leads to some profound questions about national security, the capabilities of these UFOs, and why they're so interested in our nuclear arsenals.
It makes you wonder, are they a threat? Are they trying to warn us? Or is it something else entirely?
Well, let's rewind the clock even before Roswell.
Okay.
UFO interest in nuclear technology was already apparent.
Really?
There was a significant sighting at the Hanford Plutonium Production Facility in 1945.
Wow, so before the atomic bombs were even dropped on Japan.
Exactly. This wasn't just a quick flash in the sky. We're talking about Lieutenant J.G. Bud Clem, a Navy pilot who saw this massive orange fireball-like UFO near Hanford.
And this was confirmed?
Yes. Declassified Army documents later corroborated his account. They confirmed radar had tracked an unidentified object in the area.
So even before we fully understood the power of the atom, these objects were already interested.
It seems that way. Now let's fast forward to the Cold War.
Okay, a time of incredible tension.
Absolutely. The threat of nuclear war was very real in 1967. Things took a strange turn at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana.
Malmstrom, a critical ICBM base.
That's right. On March 24, 1967, Captain Robert Salas, a nuclear missile crew commander, found himself in an unbelievable situation. 10 ICBMs under his command went offline all at once.
Just stopped working.
Completely inoperable, and at the same time, security personnel reported a UFO hovering near the base gate.
It gets even stranger just 8 days earlier. A similar incident happened at another Malmstrom launch control facility.
The timing is definitely suspicious, and you have to remember, Salas and his crew were highly trained individuals.
Not the type to make up stories.
Exactly. They had everything to lose by reporting this, but there it is documented and corroborated.
Utterly baffling, and Salas's experience is not unique.
No. Robert Hastings, the researcher we mentioned earlier, has interviewed over 150 military veterans who have seen similar things at nuclear weapons sites across the U.S.
Wow, 150.
His book, UFOs and Nukes, is full of these chilling encounters.
So we have multiple witnesses in multiple locations, all pointing to this unsettling pattern.
It's hard to ignore, but some might say, okay, lights in the sky, sure.
But could they actually affect our nuclear weapons?
Well, the next incident we're going to talk about might change your mind.
Okay, I'm ready.
This is the Big Sur incident of 1964. Dr. Robert Jacobs, a former missile test photographic officer at Vandenberg Air Force Base, was filming missile launches, and during one launch, he captured footage of a UFO intercepting the missile.
In midair.
Yes, and firing beams of light at the dummy nuclear warhead.
This sounds like a movie.
And this isn't just a he said, she said situation. Jacobs' commanding officer, Major Florence J. Mansman, later confirmed everything in writing.
Wow, so there's written documentation of this.
He described watching the film frame by frame and seeing this disc-shaped UFO maneuvering around the warhead and firing those beams of light.
And it gets even more interesting. Luis Elizondo, former director of the Pentagon's UFO program, has also said he's seen the Big Sur film, and it shows exactly what Jacobs described.
Multiple people confirming the same incredible event.
This raises a huge question. If these objects can disable missiles and silos and potentially shoot down warheads, what does that tell us about their technology and their intentions?
That's the million-dollar question, and the secrecy surrounding all of this is very disturbing.
Jacobs was ordered to never speak about what he saw, and when he did go public, he faced harassment and threats.
There seems to be a real effort to keep this information quiet, which is a big red flag.
Absolutely. If these events were harmless, why all the secrecy? Why the threats?
It suggests that something much bigger is going on, something certain people in the government are desperate to keep hidden.
It's a mystery begging to be solved. But let's not just focus on the U.S. Draga. Declassified documents smuggled out of Russia show that the Soviets had their own share of unsettling UFO encounters, especially around their nuclear facilities.
One chilling incident happened in 1982 at a missile base in Soviet Ukraine. Several missiles suddenly activated, getting ready to launch, while a large disc-shaped UFO was seen hovering overhead.
So they were about to launch.
The officers on duty were terrified. They thought World War III had started. They managed to stop the launch sequence after 15 agonizing seconds, but the incident left them deeply shaken.
So this wasn't just an American thing, it was happening all over the world, which leads to a big question. If these UFOs are so interested in nuclear weapons, what's their motive?
That's the question, isn't it? Some researchers think they're trying to warn us about the dangers of nuclear weapons.
Like they're saying, hey, these things are dangerous, be careful.
Others believe they're monitoring our capabilities, maybe worried about what we might do with such destructive power.
And then there's the scary possibility that they themselves are a threat.
Their ability to disable and maybe even activate nuclear missiles is a terrifying thought.
If they wanted to, could they start a global nuclear war?
It's a chilling thought that we can't ignore, but there's also the possibility that they're trying to prevent a nuclear catastrophe.
Maybe they see us teetering on the brink of self-destruction, and they're trying to save us from ourselves.
It's hard to know for sure. We have these incredible events witnessed by credible people, corroborated by official documents, and yet the answers remain elusive.
It's almost too much to comprehend. We have all this evidence, but we're still left with more questions than answers.
That's why it's so important to push for greater transparency. We need the government to break free from this culture of secrecy and be honest with us about what they know the truth is out there, and we deserve answers.
I agree wholeheartedly, but I don't know about you, but after hearing all this, I'm starting to think maybe the X-Files was onto something.
It wouldn't be the first time that science fiction foreshadowed real-world events.
So we've got this pattern of UFOs at nuclear facilities, government secrecy, and credible witnesses being silenced. What does it all mean? What are we supposed to take away from all of this?
It's complicated. There are no easy answers, but one thing is clear. This phenomenon is beyond our current understanding.
And it seems fixated on our nuclear capabilities.
Yes. From Hanford to Malmstrom and Minot, the evidence suggests these UFOs, or UAP as they're sometimes called, are keeping a close eye on our nuclear activities. And the fact that they can disable and maybe even activate our weapons is a major concern.
It's as if they're trying to communicate with us, but what are they trying to say?
That's the question many researchers are grappling with. Maybe they're warning us about the dangers of nuclear weapons, that we're playing a dangerous game that could lead to our destruction.
It's a scary thought, but one we can't ignore.
Especially since UFO activity around nuclear sites seems to have increased in recent years.
Oh, really?
We have reports of drones messing with nuclear power plants, strange lights near missile silos, and rumors of UFOs involved in missing nuclear material.
This sounds like something out of a movie.
But it's happening right now, and the government's response is still denial and cover-up.
They're dismissing credible witnesses, giving weak explanations, and refusing to have a real conversation about all of this.
It's beyond frustrating. We deserve better. We deserve to know the truth.
We do, and the only way to get to the truth is to keep pushing for transparency, keep asking tough questions, and demand answers from those in power.
The consistency of the reports is really fascinating. You know, they come from very different times and places.
Right.
But the stories share some striking similarities.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just a few isolated incidents.
Exactly. We're talking about hundreds of reports over decades from military personnel all over the world, and they're all describing similar experiences.
Like what?
Well, UFOs appearing near nuclear facilities, sometimes even interfering with weapon systems.
And when you look closer, are there any common threads in the descriptions of these UFOs?
Oh, definitely. They're often described as disc-shaped or cigar-shaped, capable of incredible speeds and maneuvers that just defy our understanding of physics.
It's almost like they're playing by a different set of rules.
Right, and they often appear silently, no roar of engines, no sonic booms, you know, the things you'd expect from something moving that fast.
It's like they're not bound by the same laws of physics that govern our technology.
Exactly, and that's what makes this so fascinating and so unsettling. If these UFOs are really extraterrestrial craft, as many researchers believe,
Then they have technology that's way beyond anything we can even imagine.
it would seem so.
Which leads to a pretty big question. Could they be a threat to us if they wanted to be?
It's a question we can't ignore. Their ability to disable our nuclear weapons shows a level of technology that's both impressive and potentially dangerous.
But maybe that's the point. Maybe they're not trying to hurt us, but to show us that our weapons are useless against them?
It's a possibility. Some researchers believe they're trying to send us a message about the dangers of nuclear proliferation.
Like a cosmic wake-up call.
Exactly. That we're playing a dangerous game that could lead to our own destruction.
We've already seen the devastating power of these weapons.
We have, and the fact that UFO activity around nuclear facilities seems to have increased in recent years is even more concerning.
Really? In recent years?
Yes, there have been reports of drones interfering with nuclear power plants, strange lights near missile silos, and even rumors of UFOs being involved in the disappearance of nuclear materials.
It sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
But it's happening right now in the real world, and the government's response is still the same denial and cover-up.
They're still dismissing credible witnesses, giving flimsy explanations, and refusing to have a real open conversation about all of this.
It's incredibly frustrating. We deserve better. We deserve to know the truth.
We do. And the only way to get to that truth is to keep pushing for transparency, keep asking the tough questions, and demand answers from those in power. It's amazing to think about all this evidence, all these consistent reports, and yet we still know so little about what's really going on.
It's true. The more we learn about this UFO nuclear connection, the more questions we have. It's like a giant puzzle with pieces scattered everywhere, but by looking at the patterns, listening to the witnesses, and pushing for transparency, we can start to put the pieces together.
It's like we're explorers venturing into uncharted territory.
Exactly. And sometimes the most important discoveries are made by those who question what everyone else believes, who are open to the possibility that reality is stranger than we thought.
This deep dive has really made me rethink things.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your main takeaways from all this talk about UFOs and nuclear weapons?
For me, it's the sheer amount of evidence that stands out.
Right.
We have first-hand accounts from military personnel, people we should be able to trust, and it's backed up by declassified documents, radar data, even photographs in some cases. It's hard to ignore all of that.
It also shows how much we don't know if these objects really are extraterrestrial, as many people believe that means there's technology out there that's far more advanced than ours.
Exactly. It makes you wonder about our place in the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life. It's a bit humbling to realize how little we know, but it's also incredibly exciting.
It opens up so many possibilities, some of them a bit scary.
That's true. As we wrap up, I hope our listeners are feeling a sense of wonder and curiosity, but also a healthy dose of skepticism.
It's important to keep an open mind, but also think critically. Don't just believe everything you hear.
Exactly. Do your own research, explore the evidence, and come to your own conclusions. The truth is out there, but finding it starts with asking the right questions and challenging the official narrative.
So to close out this episode, I want to leave you with some questions to think about. What do you think is behind these UFO encounters at nuclear sites? What message are they trying to send, if any? And what should the government be doing to investigate and disclose information about all of this?
These are important questions for all of us. The UFO phenomenon is not just a fringe theory anymore. It's something real that deserves our attention.
Remember, the truth is often hidden. It's up to us to bring it to light, to seek answers, and to demand transparency from those in power. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and never stop being curious.
That's the key to unraveling this mystery and understanding our place in the cosmos.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of UFOs and nuclear weapons. Until next time, keep looking up and keep searching for the truth.